Hey everybody, and welcome to the bait shop. We are going to talk about bladed jigs. They come in all different shapes and sizes. A bunch of different companies make them. We're going to look at a few of them and discuss what I like about different styles and how to rig them and the trailers I recommend using. Let's get into it. So probably the most recognizable bladed jig is going to be the Z-Man ChatterBait. We have here an original ChatterBait. It is the just plain Jane ChatterBait. Simple skirt, simple blade, simple head, very, very simple. For a long time, my favorite was the Z-Man Project Z ChatterBait. It had a weed guard, it had a lead double hook bait keeper, but what I didn't like was that it used skirts like this, not hand-tied skirts. Onto the scene we have Googan with the clickbait. They've got their hand-tied skirts, a double bait keeper, half lead, half wire, which I do like. I prefer wire bait keepers, and a blade with a different type of attachment to the lead head. I've also used and really liked the Z-Man CrossEyez Chatterbait. It has that same Z-Man blade on it, coffin shaped, and it does have a weed guard here. We're back to a wire and lead double bait keeper and wire tied skirts. So really high quality jig. And of course there's the Jackhammer and the mini Jackhammer and all of those. Then we're gonna look at my current favorite bladed jig, and that is the Dad Fish Tackle Lawnmower. We've got hand-tied dual material skirts, a wire bait keeper right there, 3/0 hooks, and currently available in a 3/8 ounce head with glued in 3D eyes. So why fish a chatterbait or a bladed jig? It thumps so bass can feel it in their lateral line. It's flashy so they can see it, and it hunts through grass super well. It just gives a really great imitation of a bait fish, and so bass love it. So there's a couple differences between the three bladed jigs we're looking at here. The primary difference being how the blade is attached and the blade shape. Z-Man uses a direct attach method. Googan has built this wire frame out, and we are attaching our blades with a high test split ring. So the question might be, why doesn't everybody direct attach? It's pretty simple actually. Z-Man, while they were not the first ones to make a bladed jig, they're the first ones to patent this method for making a bladed jig. And the direct attach was patented up until very recently, and nobody could make it that way. If you made and tried to sell or distribute a direct attach method or this particular coffin-shaped blade, you would receive a cease and desist letter. You could end up in financial trouble because they would take you to court over it. The patent on the direct connect has expired. The patent on the blade shape has not, which is a reason you see Mustad made theirs with a little pin. Googan has made theirs with this framework. And when we were developing ours, it was during the expiration of the Z-Man patent on the direct connect. When I read the patent, it was kind of unclear as to whether or not the patent was actually going to expire, and I decided I wanted to go ahead with the split ring method. And I'm glad we did, because as we have tested it and fished it, you have more side-to-side action than on a direct connect like the Z-Man. You can see the Z-Man will turn and stop there. Ours will turn and stop there, which means you have more erratic action. It looks more like a frantic bait fish trying to run. You don't sacrifice the thump. So I have actually been really pleased with going with this method for attachment. As always, we're gonna discuss fishing the bait. I have here our lawnmower, which is what we call our bladed jig, in the Mayan cichlid colorway, and we're gonna look at the knot I would tie to use this. So I'm gonna tie, for every bladed jig, a double San Diego jam knot. You're going to take your line and run it through, and then back through, and then you're going to pull plenty of line out on your loop end. And here's where it's going to be a little bit different from a Palomar, is we're going to take and pinch with this hand our main line and our tag end, and then we're going to take our loop, go over our finger, and then we're going to wrap our loop around our main and tag line 4 to 6 times. You could do more. I just usually do 4 to 6 times. Then you'll take this loop and the loop you've created over your finger, and you'll run that loop through. Take all those, pull all of them tight, and run it all the way down. You'll need to tug on each of your lines individually to get all the loops pulled through. Hold your main line and your tag end when you pull on this loop, or it'll just come loose. Once you get all that tight down, you should have a nice tight barrel. It's very streamlined. Then you're going to want to cut off your tag end and the loops. Just like that. Now you have a nice streamlined knot. Super sturdy, super durable. It's a great knot for a bladed jig. There are a lot of options when it comes to a trailer for a bladed jig. You've got your very traditional paddle tail. You have a smaller, more streamlined profile, or even a big curly grub. And they're all going to give a little bit different action. Your paddle tail is going to be good if you're trying to get your bladed jig deeper in the water and you're planning to work it slower. You're going to feed it on just like you would any other trailer. Put them back to back. Run it up, through, and down. Now you can see, especially on the lawnmower here, which has a 3/0 hook, that this trailer is very long. It does 2 things. First, you're going to increase your ratio of short bites. Second, on any bladed jig, adding a paddle tail with the mass back here is going to affect your hunt action up here. It's going to slow down the thump and the wobble, and it's going to bring it in tighter. So if you're going for a more subtle and slow moving approach, a paddle tail is a good option. You're going to give fish with that slow moving approach more time to eat, and you're going to slow down or calm down the action of the bladed jig itself. If you want to work it faster and you want as much action out of the jig itself as possible, go with a streamlined approach like this. Same thing, back to back in the center, down, out the back, and over the bait keeper. You're still adding mass. You're still adding more of that bait fish profile. You're adding action with the forked tail, but you are going to have a better hookup ratio, less short bites, and you are going to preserve almost the entirety of the action in the jig itself. A good happy medium, and maybe something most people don't think about for swim jigs or bladed jigs, is the grub. Lots of mass in the body. Not a lot of mass in the tail. It is still long, so you are still at risk of losing or hitting short strikes, but this tail is going to curl and create disturbance without affecting the action up here as much as the paddle tail. So that is another great option for your bladed jigs, especially as you're fishing larger bladed jigs. I would encourage you to try out a grub. Let's talk, what are you going to fish this on? My recommendation is going to be a 7-foot medium heavy casting rod with a 200 to 100 size casting reel. Focus more on your retrieve speed than on the actual retrieve speed on the reel. Pay attention to how quickly you're bringing it in and retrieving it and how you feel the thumps in the rod, and you'll be able to dial in on any casting reel where you want that to be. I'm going to use 15-pound fluorocarbon. You could go down to 10, you could go up higher, but I really like 15-pound. I feel like it's a good sweet spot for bladed jigs. Fish it in the grass, fish it around structure. If you're fishing a larger half-ounce or ounce bladed jig, fish it in open water deep where you know that they're schooling, and bring it through just like you would any sort of little swim bait, and you're going to catch them. So I hope you found this video informative and enjoyed it, and I hope you catch them and I will catch you all next time.